Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa Kessler from Kessler Insurance, and I am excited to be here today on behalf of Cheers for Charity New Hampshire. And today is going to be a really fun one. Also, here with my favorite partner in crime, Joanne Burchuk. Hey, Joanne.
Hey, Lisa. Hi, I'm Joanne from Lighthouse Physical Therapy, and I always get the nice job. I get to introduce our great guests here. So today we have Debbie from the Pope Memorial Humane Society. And you guys used to be formerly the Cochico, right?
Correct.
Just so people have a reference on that. So Debbie, if you want to introduce yourself and just tell us about your organization.
Sure. Thank you again for inviting us to be on this. We're really excited about it. We love to talk about our organization and our furry little friends. Like you said, my name is Debbie Shelton. I'm the development director. I've been on the in the job here for over 3 years, but I was also on the board for 6 years prior to coming to work here. So it's a place I love, a place I've always wanted to be. We were formed in 1984, and as you said, we were formed as Cochico Valley Humane Society. And 2 years ago, we received $1 million gift from Lyman Pope Jr. So we changed the name to Pope Memorial Humane Society, Cochico Valley. So when we use the Cochico Valley to kind of distinguish us from the other Pope Memorial Humane Societies, because he's given significant gifts to 3 other organizations that are also called Pope Memorial. So we try to keep that distinction. And we are in Dover. We service Stratford County and Southern York County, Maine, but really we're starting to see that there's kind of a graying of lines, that we all seem to cover more and more area. We even have adopters come to us from Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maine, even far up into like Bangor and so forth, Maine. So you just never know what people are looking for animals. So we do small animals, so we do guinea pigs, ferrets, hedgehogs, dogs, cats, kittens. We do reptiles, not a lot, but we do get reptiles every once in a while, and of course, a large variety of birds that we care for. So one of the things that we do is we have a food pantry that we supply food for the community, and during COVID, it's really come to the forefront that more and more people have needed assistance in order to keep their pets in their homes, because they can't really afford to purchase dog food or cat food or bird food right now. So we get so many donations of food that we are able to run the food pantry, and we've had people come by, and we do kind of like a drive-by. They make an appointment, come by, pick up the food that they need for the month, and then they let us know if they need more. So we continue to do that. We also have a Safe Pets program. So if someone is either having a medical issue and they don't really have family or anyone that can help them with their animals, and they potentially have to go into the hospital, we will take the pet and care for it and keep it separate so that it's safe. And also if someone's in a domestic violence type of situation, and until they can get to a safe place, we'll take the pet, because so many people don't leave because they don't have anywhere for their animals to go. So those are 2 pretty big programs for us. We also have a humane education program, and that, because of being in the new building, is expanding. And once COVID kind of calms down, we'd like to really start ramping up our birthday party program and our summer camps and our vacation camps for kids, as well as doing a lot of different programs for the community, from puppy training, first, what is even a leash or a collar for a little puppy, to dogs that are very dog aggressive once they get on a leash, and working with people, sometimes one-on-one, just to help them be able to control their animal more. And also you just let people use the conference room for community meetings if they want to, and things like that. So those are kind of the things that are really important to our organization.
That's all great. I didn't know that you had the food pantry for
Yes.
the animals. That's great. I mean, you always think about the food pantries just for people, and so hadn't really.
We've had that a long time.
Okay.
And the other thing, COVID has really changed how we kind of do business. And one of the things that we learned this year is we actually ran our rabies and microchip clinics as drive-throughs. And that worked really well, because normally people would come, park, say we were going to do it from 10 to 2 and they would all get in line. Well, the dogs are reactive to each other. The poor cats that are in
Oh.
carriers are like, and people are either getting rained on or it's really hot out or whatever. So they stayed in their cars and they could keep the air conditioner on or the heat on or whatever. The animals stayed with them. They got the paperwork done, and then a vet tech came and collected the animal, brought it in to see the vet, and then brought it back out. And people loved it. So we're going to continue to do that even after COVID is gone. And the other thing is having to close down the shelter when COVID first hit. We were really worried about whether we would be considered an essential program and be able to come to work. So we were able to get 90% of our animals into foster. So 45 animals were put into foster the first couple of weeks, just until we were sure that we would be able to come to work and be able to care for the animals. And what we learned from being closed down is that letting people wander around through the shelter was actually very stressful to the animals, with people walking by and staring into their cages or their kennels, and also just being loud. So we're going to continue to do by appointment only and let people, bring the animals to them and have them use the internet more and more and more to see which animals they want, instead of having people wandering around throughout the shelter. So it's interesting what we've learned as the COVID experience has impacted us all.
Yeah, when we pivot, sometimes it's all for the better, right?
Exactly.
New, get creative. And I did want to mention, so you also have a veteran program.
Yes.
Run through Chris's Pets for Vets. Do you want to share with us a little bit about that?
Sure. When a person comes to us that is a veteran, Chris's Pets for Vets will pay the adoption fee for the animal that they decide to adopt, whether it's any of the animals, whether it's a bird, cat, reptile, dog, whatever. And it's a great program that we have with Chris's Pets for Vets, and it helps a lot of people that might not be able to pay the full fee to be able to get an animal to bring home and love.
Yeah, and from what I understand, it's a pretty easy process to for them to apply for that.
Yeah, they definitely have to go through our rigorous application process, and if they have other pets, we have to get the information about those pets and make sure that they are vaccinated, rabies, et cetera, and that they have permission to have whatever type of pet they're adopting by their landlord, or if they own their own home, then they can make that decision. But yeah, once they pass our process, then they can be, the deposit can be taken over by Chris's Pets for Vets.
Awesome. Just out of curiosity, any odd animals you've received?
I think the oddest for us has been a couple of different kinds of snakes. And actually, when I first started 3 years ago, we got a couple of hedgehogs, and I'd never seen one before. And we just got one yesterday too, named Charlie. So we now have a hedgehog back in the house. A couple of guinea pigs, a couple of rabbits, lots of cats, and a fair amount of dogs.
What's the thing, Debbie, what's the thing that you need most? If people wanted to help, is it to adopt the lots of cats that you have? Is it food donations? Is it money? Is it volunteers? Or what's your wish list?
I probably our biggest wish list, we always need bleach and paper towels and the large, big garbage bags, because cleaning the kennels and the cat cages every day, that's a lot. It's a lot. And also, we always can use dog food and cat food. Where it's amazing, we get so many donations, which is awesome, of cat food and dog food, that we actually can use the money that we raise from the community for the things that we can't get donated. And so that's really good. So the more in-kind donations we get, definitely the better. And fundraising is always something that we're doing. It's constant, because we don't get any federal or state or municipal aid. Everything is from the community and all the fundraising that we do. So it's been an interesting 2020 and now 21, having to do everything virtually. None of our events are face-to-face right now. So everything has been changed, and we've pivoted really to the internet and doing everything virtual right now.
That's great. Anything that you would want to share for somebody who's thinking about adopting a pet, maybe considerations prior to doing that?
Sure. I think the biggest thing is to make sure that you you have to think about the expense that they need food all the time and they need vet care. So you'd have to think about and budget for that to make sure that you have, the funds to be able to do that. And also time. Do you have enough time so that the animal's not going to be left alone, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, and et cetera. Make sure you're going to be willing to take the dog for a walk or, play with the cat, do things like that if you're going to adopt a cat, and it should be an indoor cat to make sure that it's safe. The other thing with animals is, the small animals, is to learn what they need. I'm trying to think, like rabbits. I don't know a lot about rabbits, but I know that they're very delicate to be picked up. You can hurt them, break their backs very easily. So to learn how to play with and care for a rabbit to make sure that it doesn't get hurt, that type of stuff.
Fascinating. It's so funny. We do these, we ask questions, and all of a sudden I'm like thinking, and I should ask another question. Your organization's absolutely amazing, and I know, on your website you have some information. Is that website the best place for people to get more information? How can they get involved? How can they engage? How can they either volunteer, adopt, donate? Those kinds of
Sure.
things.
Our website is one of the best ways to get information and to contact us. There's contact information for adoption info, so you can get applications. There's a lot of information on volunteering and what that process is, and the application form so that you can fill it out and get it in. And there's a lot of information on there that just kind of tells about what we are and what we do, so that people can figure out how they want to get involved. Do they want to help do fundraising and do events like our auction or our dog walk? Or do they want to do things like be in the Humane Education Department and go to schools and to Dover Housing Authority or Rochester Housing Authority and do presentations about the shelter and about animals and how to care for them? There's so many different ways people can get involved. And truly, we couldn't do what we do if we didn't have the volunteers that we have. Volunteers are the backbone of our organization. They really are. We just love our volunteers.
That's terrific.
And we actually have a pretty good Facebook presence too. So if people like us, they would continue to learn a lot about our organization.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Oh, Debbie, what you guys do is so important. And those, the fact that you're doing such good for these animals and for the families who are lucky enough to end up with some of these animals, right? It's a win-win for everybody. So we thank you for that. We thank you and your team and for all the good work you do. And we thank you too for joining us today and sharing a bit about what you do, and working with us to try to build some more awareness. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you. And I appreciate being on the program. Hopefully we can do it again. And maybe if you do things face in person, I'd love to come again.
Well, if we do in person, we want a tour.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to pet something soft.
I know.
Sounds good. We'll definitely have you in.
Yeah, thank you. It was great to meet you.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you too.